Hey guys, it's Quinn. Today we're going to be taking a look at a topic which we all have thought about before, and that is, who would have been the best Bond in each of the Bond films? Now I know it would be stupid for me to just go straight through the list of Bond movies, because the majority of the movies each Bond actor was in was a movie that was designed for him. Take Roger Moore in Moonraker, for example. No other Bond, heck, no other actor on Earth could get away with that performance. It would make no sense for me to talk about that movie, but there are some that can be debated, and that's what we're being looking at today. The first is You Only Live Twice, starring Sean Connery. Now, every Bond film up to this point has been a movie that was just made for Connery, but in this movie, Connery just looks flat out bored the entire time. How would George Lazenby have fared? Now, I know he isn't the best of actors, but I didn't genuinely like him in On Her Majesty's Secret Service, but I just don't think he could have cut it here. Roger Moore is an interesting choice. Basically, half of the Roger Moore films have been the plot of You Only Live Twice, and this movie does have its fair share of camp. But Roger Moore, the man who has made a movie called Octopussy work, is just an actor who would just not work in this Asian setting. The rest of the actors would have been too young, so, reluctantly, and kind of by default, Connery is the best actor for You Only Live Twice. Next is On Her Majesty's Secret Service, obviously starring George Lazenby. Really, this is a battle of three Bonds, the three Bonds who are considered. Connery, Lazenby, and Dalton all have good cases for why they could work in this film, but here is my reasoning for each. The Connery films were starting down the road of camp and self-parody. Everything was getting too bombastic and crazy, if you will. But although this may be true, Connery is a great actor. Lazenby was in this film, and although he was wooden, his vulnerability almost made me believe his performance more. Although I think Dalton would have been great, he was just too young at this point for the role. So saying all of this, because of Sean Connery's camp, On Her Majesty's Secret Service was written for George Lazenby. Diamonds Are Forever shares basically my same opinions You Only Live Twice, but the difference is that Connery's having fun in this film. If Connery's on top form, then Connery's on top. Match Connery. Next is The Man with the Golden Gun. This, at least in my opinion, is a Connery-Moore battle. Although the hard-nosed attitude that the film tries to create is totally up Connery's alley, the film has its campy moments, most notably the slide whistle during the car scene. Although the dynamic of Connery versus Lee would have been awesome to watch, I feel like by then Connery would have looked too old. But then again, so did Lee. In the end, this film is just too campy for Connery, and doesn't deserve to be on Connery's resume, so by default, Roger Moore wins. Speaking of camp, A View to a Kill. A View to a Kill, at least in my opinion, is the weirdest matchup in the entire series, and indeed is the weirdest film. An old Moore versus a generally angry Dalton. Roger Moore was in his late 50s by the time this film came out, and the fact really takes away a lot of my enjoyment from this movie. The scene at the end when Roger Moore is fighting Zorn is a fight Zorn definitely would have won in real life. For all these reasons, I feel like Dalton should have done this film. If you edit the script a little, this movie really could have worked for him. Don't worry, Roger Moore, I'll always love you, just not in this film. The next is Goldeneye, and this is of course the Dalton versus Brosnan battle. Actually, is this just me, or is this battle would have been genuinely been fun to watch, like in real life? Anyways, this film actually could have worked very well for Dalton, and I still believe that Dalton could have really pulled off this movie. But I feel that having two such dark characters in the form of Dalton's Bond and 006 and Alec Trevelyan would have just been too much to handle. Therefore, this film is for Brosnan. Next is Die Another Day. And no, it's not Brosnan versus Craig, it's Brosnan versus Moore. Now I know by this point Moore would have looked just like an old coot, but just imagine him like he was in Moonraker. Honestly, no matter what you did to this film, this movie still could have been bad. Actually, I do know a way this film could have been arguably the best in the series, even better than Goldeneye, but I'll save that for my Die Another Day review, which will probably be like a year from now. Anyways, Roger Moore and stupidity go hand in hand, so watching him ride a wave would have been amazing. Although Brosnan is my favorite Bond, this movie is a Roger Moore camp all the way. In an effort to speed up this extremely long rant, every other movie goes to whoever was the actor in it. I know this is a kind of a random thing to talk about altogether, but I think that if you really dive into it, there are some good matchups, most notably A View to a Kill with Roger Moore and Timothy Dalton. Sorry for how long this video took to make. I've been really busy lately. Anyways, I think I've talked enough for 1 week. Next time, my long-awaited Thunderball review. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and happy Mother's Day.